the AFC wildcard teams?
I would so like to say the Steelers would be one because the Ravens will catch them. When you look at the schedule and the way they're playing, I don't think that's the case. I think the Steelers hold on. But I do think that the Chargers catch the Chiefs, even though the Chargers have a slightly tougher schedule. Neither one of them have a cupcake schedule, except the Chiefs have the Raiders at the end of the season. But they both have losable games here. The difference is, I've believed the Chargers, when they got Joey Bosa back, would be the best team in the AFC since the preseason. They have him back, and they're rounding into form. They look like the most well-balanced team in the conference right now. Yes, they lost Melvin Gordon, at least temporarily. They have Eckler, who's very, very good. The Chiefs just lost Kareem Hunt for reasons that we've discussed.
Yeah.
They don't have a guy like Eckler. Right? That's a big part of their attack. They lost an elite back, and I don't think the difference. I don't think the difference was that great between the two. And in fact, I thought the Chargers were trending toward being better than the Chiefs anyway. So I think the Chiefs are actually going to wind up as a wild card and not the division winner.
Well, first of all, I think you should be tested. That ain't gonna happen.
The
Kansas City Chiefs will go 13-3. Their last 4 games are against the Ravens, the Chargers, the Seahawks, and the last game of the Ravens. I'm sorry, the Ravens, the Chargers.
And isn't the Raiders the last game?
And the Raiders are the last game. They will win 3 of their next 4 games. They will win 3 of their next 4 games.
You think they're going to win 3 of those?
Yes, because
they could, or they could go 2-2.
3 of them at home at Arrowhead Stadium.
That's
the only road game. The only road game.
Never lose it at home.
I understand that. The only road game is at Seattle. If they lose one of those home games, they'll win at Seattle. If they win all 3 of their road games, or they'll win their next 2 road games, they'll probably lose at Seattle. They're going to finish 13-3. With the #1 seed in the AFC, and the road to the Super Bowl is going to have to come through Arrowhead Stadium, because even if the New England Patriots were to catch them, they beat New England. I'm sorry, New England beat them, so they would have home court advantage. They will not catch them. They will be a game behind. They'll have 4. New England finished 12-4. Chiefs will finish 13-3, and that's really what this comes down to. I think that when you look at the wild card spot right now, as I look at the AFC, this is tough, but I'm going to sit up there and say the Ravens are going to lose to Kansas City this week, and I think the Indianapolis Colts might sneak in there and catch the wild card spot with Andrew Luck. That's the only thing, that's the only trepidation I have.
What about the Jags game last week? I was with you there, but they look bad against the Jags.
That's what I'm saying. It's Baltimore or Indy. I think Indy's got a shot to catch Baltimore, because Baltimore's going to lose this weekend to Kansas City. That's where I'm at with it.
I think the wild card. Look, I think this whole AFC West thing is going to be very interesting, because you talk about the Los Angeles Chargers. They're the most complete team in football. They're the only team that's that both offensively and defensively rank in the top 6.
Saints? You think the Saints aren't?
No, the Chargers are the most complete. Okay. They played really good defense.
Go to the Super Bowl.
And Phillip Rivers is playing at an MVP type level, fellas. That's what it is. I worry about the schedule down the stretch, and that's why I'm going to slide them into the wild card. I think the Chiefs hold on in the AFC West and will be one of the top 2 seeds. The Ravens. I think the Ravens, I understand Lamar Jackson, he's a rookie, and people talk about the passing game, but the Ravens have a formula that they can do a lot of damage, and here's what I'm talking about. Statistically on defense, they're #1 in almost every category. They're possessing, over the last 3 games, they're possessing the ball almost 15 minutes more than their opponent. Think about that. Almost basically a quarter of a game, each game over the last 3 games. Over the last 3 games, they
Why? Because they run so much more?
Because of Lamar Jackson. They do a lot of the design runs, and they're running the ball, they're possessing the ball. And when it comes to the postseason, that can win you games. That can win in the postseason. So the Baltimore Ravens, they got their schedule. It's not easy, but with their defense and Lamar Jackson being that 11th guy that you have to defend, that's going to be hard.
You have Ravens and Chargers.
I have Ravens and Chargers at the wild card.
How about this?
I say Colts and Chargers.
How about this as a sleeper pick for a wild card slot. They've been overlooked all year. I like the Case Keenum signing. I said he's the guy to target if you don't want to spend the big money on the quarterback. Denver was a tough out early in the season. They were tough out. I always considered that a quality win. They gave teams run.
They've won 3
Look
in a
at
row.
what they've done recently. They lose to KC at KC by 1 score.
Yeah.
They lose by 2 points to the Texans, white hot team. They beat the Chargers at LA. They beat the Steelers at home. They beat the Bengals. Like, they had not only have quality losses 5 and 6 weeks ago, they got quality wins recently. Denver's a sleeper team, and it's not inconceivable that we can get 3 playoff teams from that division.
Well, Emmanuel Sanders tearing his Achilles. That's going to hurt.
Well, let me also say this. Melvin Gordon, he's out. So I'm looking at it from this perspective. First of all, the Chargers have a bye week this week. They play Cincinnati. They have a bye week. Okay, so we understand that. All right, so let's get that out of the way. There's a bye week there. But then after that, they got to go on the road to Kansas City. That's a game I think they will lose. And so I'm looking at the Chargers right now. I'm looking at the Chargers. Yes, I think they're losing at Arrowhead Stadium. I firmly believe that. But I'm looking at Baltimore, and here's my trepidation about Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, who I like a lot and believe he should remain the starter for the Baltimore Ravens. I think to beat Kansas City, you got to put up 30. And even though Kansas City's defense is suspect, I can't depend on Lamar Jackson to put up 30, 35 points. That's my only reason that I would say that.